Hello again here at the Easy Italian Granddad channel, my friends. I know what you're expecting from this third lesson, that we talk about consonants, the Italian consonants and how they sound. So welcome to this consonant overview. Well, we're quite lucky with Italian consonants because a good number of them don't sound very different from the English ones, as the vowels do. Some consonants actually sound exactly the same. Others have a little different sound. Some are really different, but with sounds that exist in English. And finally, there are a few of them that require learning a new sound for an English speaker. Therefore, the panorama of consonants is a bit varied. Always remember that learning the Italian pronunciation is a simplified task compared to learning English. Let's get a look at the Italian alphabet, just to start with. Do you notice anything unusual here? Yes, that's it. It contains fewer letters. There is no J, K, W, X, and Y in the standard traditional Italian language. So this is the first group of consonants we look at, the ones that are not there. Now I see you, many of you rushing to protest. Hey, I was in Italy and saw lots of those letters written everywhere. How is it possible they are not in the alphabet? Well, my friends, Italians are a very welcoming people, and so is the language. Every language incorporates words from other languages, so they use these letters for foreign words. Every time you find one of these letters written somewhere, that's because it's a foreign word. It comes from another language which happens to use these letters written down here, but they do not belong to the Italian alphabet. So you could find imported English words or French, German, Spanish, Russian, or any other language. And here we must do a special mention of a very special foreign language, that is Greek, because Greek words have always existed inside the Italian language since more than a millennium before the Italian language itself was created. Greek culture, history, language, words, philosophy, mythology, etc. have always fascinated the Romans. During the Roman Empire, about 2,000 years ago, the richest and most important families hired Greek tutors to teach their children, so they grew up learning the Greek language and everything related to it. Did you ever hear of Julius Caesar, the first emperor? Well, he and the most important people spoke fluent Greek in Rome because they had been raised that way. They went to the theater to see comedies in the original language. It was a foreign language for the Romans, but the trendy language in those times, that of the elites, of people who matter. How do you think Julius Caesar and his lover Cleopatra talked to each other? She was an Egyptian from a family of Greek origin, so they both spoke Greek. This way, Latin itself took many Greek words, long before Italian evolved from it. Many commonly used words derive from Greek, or are totally Greek. In science and technology, they are the majority, for example. So today, if you want to study the Italian language the best way, you attend a school where, among the most important subjects, you have two ancient languages, Latin and Greek. However, Greek always was and still is a foreign language. Dante Alighieri and the people of his time in the Middle Ages no longer were able to speak or understand the Greek language, not even the alphabet. which is different from this Latin one we're using here. It was totally foreign to them, although they were steeped in the Greek culture derived from the classics in ancient times. And the Greek language contains some of these foreign letters like the kappa, chi, or x, the x, or ypsilon, the y, but you won't find any of these 5 letters in the Divine Comedy, the book I showed you on Lesson 2, which is widely considered the foundation of the Italian language. In many cases, words containing these letters are translated. For example, taxonomia, taxonomy in English, becomes tassonomia in Italian, with the double S instead of the X. But new and modern words are continually created using Greek. For example, xylophone, the xylophone, a musical instrument made of wood. It has an X in Italian too. That's because it's a foreign word from a foreign language. So, just to start with, we have 21 letters in the Italian alphabet instead of 26. I told you before, it's a simplification. Now, let's see another list of the 21 letters. Here you see them in maiuscolo, that is uppercase, and minuscolo, lowercase. Then, on the third column, you see their names. And we also have another simplification regarding the sounds. One of the consonants here has no sound. Yes, my friends, it is never pronounced. It is this one called H, corresponding to the H in English. We can consider it as a graphic symbol. It's used to show the sound of other letters next to it, or some characteristics of the word it is in. It does have a name, but no sound in Italian, so this is very easy to learn. You have no sound to pronounce. Conversely, some of the letters you see here may have 2 different sounds, as we will see. Then we will add 3 more sounds that do not have their own symbol. So you don't see them here, because they are produced by the composition of 2 consonants. We'll cover this in a later lesson. Then I want to show you yet another way of listing the alphabet, and here you can clearly see the letters we've already discussed. They're still written in alphabetical order, but here on the last column you can also see the foreign letters. And at the top of the other columns we have the vowels that we have already discussed in lessons 1 and 2. Now we will deal with the remaining 16 letters, the Italian consonants. If you consult linguistic books, you will find them grouped according to the way you position your mouth to pronounce them. The groups may have names like palatali, velari, occlusive, etc. That's a matter for technicians. We did something like that with the vowels, because you need to learn the vowel sounds that are quite different from the English ones. But here we will group consonants in a different way. That is, according to their resemblance with the corresponding English sounds. Now, this is the first substantial consonant cluster. B, F, L, M, N, P, V. These are 7 letters, my friends. They are our largest group of consonants, and do you know what? These are pronounced the same way in Italian as in English. According to the technicians, some of them could have a very slight difference, but insignificant. In practice, We don't have to learn their sound specifically, but only practicing them in some exercises together with Italian vowel sounds. In fact, as an exercise, we will start the next lesson pronouncing words with these 7 consonants. We will then keep on examining the remaining 9 consonants: C, D, G, H, Q, R, S, T, Z, plus the 3 compound sounds. We will do that in a few following lessons, studying each of them in detail. As an overview, you should know that C, G, and S can have 2 different sounds, as we've seen for the vowels E and O. But you can also find these sounds in the English pronunciation, so they will not be new for you. Zeta is another letter which can have 2 different sounds, and you will have to learn these from scratch because they don't exist in English. The sounds of D, R, and T are somewhat similar, yet distinctly different, so you will have to train a bit on this. H and Q are a couple of strange elements that have been strange since the birth of the language, but do not pose any difficulty in pronunciation. Finally, regarding the compound sounds, 2 of them exist in English, and the last one you will need to learn it from scratch. Just to finish this preliminary lesson on consonants, let's take a look at what this word means. We say consonante in Italian, and consonanti is the plural. It's composed of 2 parts. Con means with, and sonante means sounding. So they are letters that sound with, or they sound together with. They can only be pronounced together with something else. The question is, what else? Well, with the vowels. In practice, 1 or more consonants are grouped around a vowel, or even more vowels, and are pronounced together with them. In fact, they can't stand alone because the voice always rests on vowel sounds. However, you will see in this course that we pronounce the consonants alone. It is not impossible, actually. Sometimes I will let you hear the sounds of consonants without a vowel sound attached to them, just to show how the sounds correspond to the written letters. This will be the sounds you need to pronounce words sound by sound. And it's an exercise children learn to do in 1st grade at elementary school. It's something similar to what you call spelling in English. It also has a name in Italian. It is called compitare, even though 99% of Italians don't know this word or don't remember it. It's used by children for a very short time at the beginning of school, when they first try to write words they already know by pronunciation. We will take the opposite path because we see a word that's already written and want to know how to pronounce it. Somehow we know the written version and are looking for the pronunciation. So we will use compitazione, spelling, in reverse. Let's return to this list of the 21 letters. We have their names here next to them. You can note that the names of vowels are their own sounds. There's no difference between names and sound. But consonants cannot stand alone in a word, as we've said. So they have names containing vowels. Most of the names follow these 2 patterns. They can have the form consonant E or E consonant, consonant E. We write an asterisk to mean the consonant itself. Then we have 3 consonants not abiding to these patterns. They are H, the H, Q, Q in English, and zeta, Z or Z. This last one is actually the name of the corresponding letter in the Greek alphabet. Sometimes also you could find the V called V instead, as you see here. Then you have the W that is called V doppia or doppia V. But I prefer calling this one V and this other one V or V doppia. And let's note, please, you call this one W in English, while it's called double V in Italian. If you like this way of learning how to speak Italian and want to hear more, please subscribe to the Is Italian Granddad channel. You can leave comments and what would be your preferences down below, or click the like button. You can propose what interests you most about Italian pronunciation, how to improve this channel or the single lessons. Do you have a specific word that you want to know the exact pronunciation of? Everything you like, please let me know. Cari amici poliglotti, arrivederci alla prossima. Ciao!